Hello everybody, welcome back to Mr. B Clothing here at 1995 Northwest 86th Street in Clive. We've got the 4th of July behind us as we continue on with Sitzmann's picks. We're building up to the 2014 Iowa State football season. Tim Sitzmann here, of course, with Mr. B Clothing.
Nice to always be with you, but
Absolutely.
Isn't it funny? We got the 4th of July over, and I always feel like summer's half over, and that means we're ready for football, and football's right around the corner.
It's here, Tim.
We've picked 3 games, I think, Chris. Yeah, I guess it's 3 now.
Yep.
And I don't know about you, but the last few seasons, maybe 4 or 5 seasons we've been doing this, I've always been excited about it. I look at that schedule and I get really kind of nervous. I mean, I know Coach Rhodes looked at that schedule and says, "Hey, I got a great team. I can handle it," because he's a positive thinker. I'm glad I'm not a coach in his situation. And what a tough gauntlet they're going through in the next 4 or 5 games.
Yeah, you know, you start with North Dakota State. You've got Iowa State beating North Dakota State and Kansas State. You have a loss at the University of Iowa the following week. But this is boy, you're kind of on murderer's row right now. You got to host Baylor.
We got a Baylor team that could win the whole conference.
I mean, Baylor won that game last year, seen by like 120 points down there in Waco.
Yeah.
And then you got to go to Oklahoma State. Frankly, folks, we're just going to be honest with you. We don't have a lot of positive things to say about these games, so we're just going to kind of mesh them together here, Tim.
Well, you know, I think those 2 games are really. This is really. We're going to go through it probably after the Iowa game. I picked an upset over Kansas State. I think there's an upset kind of toward the end of the season here. I maybe wouldn't even call it an upset, but I still think we can come out with a possible bowl bid. I say possible because there is some things at the end of the year. If we improve, we don't get hurt too much in this little gauntlet that we're going through. I mean, it's so hard.
Can I say? I want to say this though. At Oklahoma State on October 4th. I don't think they're as good as we've probably built them up to be in the first 2-3 minutes of this video. I think that's a program where in the past Mike Gundy's teams really have just reloaded.
Yep.
There hasn't been. I think there's a drop off there this year. I'm not saying I think Iowa State beats them, but I think that's a deal where
it could go the other way.
That could be a Rhodes weird upset type of game. I don't think it will be, but that could be. That is a team I would circle like TCU a couple of years ago, where we didn't really know
what they
exactly what. I think Oklahoma State's like that, so I wouldn't completely write that one off as a loss.
Yeah,
Baylor. Defensively, I don't see how Iowa State can play its best game possible, and let's say a medium game by Baylor. I don't know how Iowa State still holds that team under 50. Jack Tri Stadium.
It's going to be really hard, and I think the Baylor team, the only thing it could be is just a really horrible day on their part with lots of turnovers. Even at that, it's going to be hard to beat.
And they traditionally struggle at Jack Tri Stadium. Again, we're not trying to get too excited here, but that's a program that traditionally does not play well in Ames. Unfortunately for Iowa State, it's still in September. The weather's going to be fine. You're not really going to be slowing the Baylor Bears down. That's a very quick team. I mean, it's going to be hard to slow them down. But I don't disagree with you. You look at that schedule, and there's 3 or 4 games that you could put a circle around. You know, the Kansas State game was one I thought was a circle. There's a couple of them, Texas Tech down the way. There's a couple that I think we have a really good chance of winning. I see 6 wins in this season. You know, last year we didn't get 6 wins, so I hope you're right.
I'm saying to be a successful year with a new offense and wondering what that defense is going to mature to be. I think 6 wins would be a huge success for the Cyclones, and we'll get to that later in the season. I think these 2 games are going to be awful tough. They're going to come out of a little physical combat with Kansas State, Iowa, and then Baylor before they get to Oklahoma State. So I think it's a regroup kind of game, and that you're right, it could be close. I think it'll be a 10-point game. We're down there, probably lose there, but I think they'll regroup and be ready to go. I think that's kind of Coach Rhodes is, and I think we'll see a stronger team after that.
Well, I do think that's the key. You kind of mentioned on it to getting to a bowl game this season. In the middle of that schedule that we've talked about, I don't necessarily think it is winning the game. It's not allowing Aaron Wimberly to get hurt. It's keeping your quarterback, whoever it is, upright. It's keeping that offensive line intact.
And maturing. I mean, that offensive line's got to mature and keep them all ready to go.
I mean, the last 4 games of the season, though, I'll read them to you. At Kansas, Texas Tech, West Virginia, and at TCU. All 4 winnable football games. All 4 wins. So you've got to – the point that you can't be depleted like you were last year. You just can't.
If you get depleted, they could lose 2 out of those 4.
They could lose 3. You know, we don't know. They could lose all 4 for all we know, but I don't think that's going to be the case. But so you've got losses to Baylor and Oklahoma State. You started Iowa State off at 2-0. That's losing 4 in a row. But Tim, I know you're building them up for the end of the schedule.
I really am. I think the end of the schedule is where they get their breath and they're maturing at the defensive side of the ball. And I think the offense is going to be good. I really do. So if they stay healthy, they can beat a lot of those teams at the end of the season.
All right, he's Tim.
So we
Sitzmann.
got two at the front and maybe 4 at the back that we can grab.
All right, I hope so.
Yeah.
When does the fall gear come in? Because I know you like to encourage people to first pick when it gets here.
Absolutely, but we're still in the middle of our clearance. We do it semi-annual clearance, and we're 40% off, and that's going to go probably till the middle of July, the end of July area. So come in early for the best selection. That's when you get the best selection. Then it starts trickling in 1st of August.
1st of August.
We start getting fall goods, and I think it's fun to come in and see what's new, and we'll let you know down the way as we keep picking these clones, and hopefully you'll see another upset. Maybe we can get to 7 wins. You never know.
All right. He's Tim Sitzmann. I'm Chris Williams. Hope you had a great 4th of July last week, and come visit Tim, Mac, all the boys here at Mr. B Clothing at 1995 Northwest 86th Street in Clive. So long.